It's been a few months since the release of Overwatch 2, and now that the honeymoon phase is over, it's really time to take a deep dive and talk about this game as a whole. There are so many different issues, from the competitive experience to the quality of life as a whole, and at this point in Overwatch 2, it is not a good game, especially when you compare it to Overwatch 1. I'm not even sure if they made any improvements at all. I remember people being so happy that Overwatch 2 was about to come out in 5v5 and one less tank. I wasn't. The first reason it was because I really don't even like change as a whole, especially when it doesn't make sense. Removing one tank was going to add so many more problems, and now we can see that. The second reason was because 5v5 was going to remove an integral part of what made Overwatch unique, and especially as someone who played tank 70% of the time. I knew I wasn't going to like the decision once Blizzard made that, and I love having tank synergy, and I just don't find that same enjoyment sometimes. I feel naked with just one tank. I barely play Zarya because I don't think she's as fun as when I'm not supporting my other tank. And then we had that crowd of people saying, oh, tanks are overpowered, even though like 2.5 tanks are unviable. I don't think they're OP, but they still, at the end of the day, need to be tanky. They need to take up space. They need to be on the front lines. And since there is one less tank, they need to be juiced up. Otherwise, you wouldn't have taken them as a threat. And at that point, you might as well just have 3 DPS. My last gripe about playing tank in Overwatch 2 is that there is more pressure to perform well. If there's a massive tank diff, we are going to lose. And now I feel like I have to do everything, and I just cannot do that if there is more than one threat. I can only address one. If there's a sniper picking us off and we have a flanker in our backline, I cannot dive the sniper and peel. But if I do dive the sniper, what's stopping the enemy tank from picking off my team? I find myself in those positions way more. If they are running a pharmacy, I just can't switch to dive. Then what's stopping Arisa from just taking out my whole team? I miss communicating with my other tank about counter matchups and seeing who's going to counter this. Oh, I got this. Let me switch to this. We don't have that anymore. It's just me, myself, and I. And speak about not having fun, let's talk about playing support. I don't think they've ever been in a worse spot, and that's another major issue from having one less tank in the game and less crowd control. Not saying I'm on the crowd control team, it was needed. Let me just say that. There is barely any resistance from stopping flanking heroes from demolishing the backline, and you really have to sustain yourself. Since you are the one keeping the tanks alive, we now have to kill the supports, then to kill the tanks. So you're being focused way more. But I'm not gonna lie, the passive they did add was nice, but at this time supports are really not balanced for 5v5 gameplay. Now that I got the roles out of the way, let's talk about the actual structure part of the game. I want to talk about the battle pass first, just so we can get out the way. Yes, it's bad. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's probably the worst battle pass in gaming, but at the end of the day, you really don't have to buy the battle pass to play the game. I know they lock heroes behind it, and that's really my biggest issue. I just think from getting level to 45 to unlock a character is a lot. Even when y'all reduced it from 55, y'all thought y'all was adding cute by adding that little salt souvenir. I just don't think there's enough ways to earn XP with just the challenges alone. Especially when you maybe only play for 5 hours out of the week, and that's being generous. If you complete all 3 of the daily challenges, that is only 9,000 XP. And you need to get 10,000 XP to get a whole level, so that's not even enough to get you a level. The weeklies give you 500, I guess, and the seasonals don't even give you that much. I've gotten 500 XP for winning 5 games with Arisa. I think I should just get a little bit more, especially when it takes longer to complete that, but I could be wrong. Then for the free players, you don't get a lot of things in the battle pass compared to other games. For the first 2 to 3 pages, there are only 2 to 3 things available. When you compare it to Destiny 2, you at least get 5. For the people that do pay, there isn't enough currency, so it really doesn't pay for itself. But then again, you don't have to buy the battle pass to play the game. Next is the lack of updates/patches. When the game first came out, Zarya and Sojourn were busted with a capital B, and it took way too long to adjust the problem. If we have a customer telling you, yeah, that hero needs to be nerfed, and you're like, nah, they're good. What? Huh? If people from all ranks are telling you, yeah, Sojourn is too good and it's really easy to get value out of her, low risk, high reward type deal. Then you show them, oh yeah, everybody in the top 500 for DPS have Sojourn in their top 3. You don't turn around and say, well, in the lower rank, she's not as good. Like y'all having buff heroes for the higher ranks that were already good in the lower ranks for people in Masters. I remember that. And then when you do put a patch out, you inadvertently gave her a buff. You nerfed Junker Queen, who was already bad. And then you made Doom OP in the same patch. Even though that's not the issue now and they got tuned down, but did y'all not run the numbers? Did y'all not test this out? And then y'all have this wonderful idea to make to have a mid-season patch to make each season feel different. Why would you create metas instead of them forming naturally? And Overwatch 1, there were patches, updates, and hot fixes when they were needed. They didn't update them just because. The second topic I want to talk about is the quality of life, because I felt like it got worse in all aspects. But the only thing I thought they improved on was the ping system. Thanks, I guess. But in most cases, there was a downgrade in several ways. Taking away features that people liked, just like the on fire visual. Why did y'all need to take that away? Why do y'all feel the need to do that? And then the funny thing is, the players still have the voice lines saying that they're on fire. You just can't see it. And now that the tab system has changed, there needs to be another design, but it should not have taken that long to fix that problem. And speaking of the tab screen, so y'all got rid of medals, right? Because they were too toxic. But then you decide to add scoreboards. Okay. And you can see your scoreboard and also the enemy team scoreboard. Is that not worse than medals? Because you couldn't see everybody's medals. You can only see the medals that you have and type in the chat, who got gold, who got... But now I can literally compare every matchup in the game. I can literally see who's doing bad. I can see who's carrying. You can literally see everyone's stats. And then for your individual stats, I feel like most of them aren't needed. Like, why do I need to know the percentage of Lucio's heal to speed boost ratio? Okay, why do I need to know how many sleep darts I've hit and the accuracy of that? I feel like just tell me either or, then I feel like I'll get the job done. But I just feel like some of these stats are pretty useless. And then after the game, there's no more player cards. You can't stay with your group. You can't endorse the enemy team. And once the play of the game is done, then it's wrap. You can't talk to anyone in chat anymore, not even your teammates. And then before the game, you can't see your rank or levels. And speaking of ranks, the logos look significantly worse. And so do the gun sounds. I felt like some of them were not needed. They sound similar and they don't sound unique. They sound really heavy and clunky, like this is Call of Duty. Maybe some of them needed to be tweaked, but not the entire roster. And my last gripe is the options, and the leave game is not on the main menu. Maybe I'm lazy and I don't want to press an extra key, but I just feel like it should be right there for access. Now that I'm editing this video, I completely forgot to mention map pools. Not sure what that whole idea is about. I haven't seen not one person be happy for only having 2/3 of the map in the game at a time. I understand, you're making them ooh day, ooh night, evening, and y'all are tweaking them to make it more 5v5 accessible. But this definitely should not be a long-term thing, because what is map pools? That is not necessary in this game. And I saved the best for last, of course. We're going to talk about competitive and matchmaking as a whole. This is probably the worst version of ranked I have ever seen. It's literally not fun more than half of the time, and I have hours under my belt in comp. I have hours. Let's just say that. I've been around. I would rather have the GOATS meta, pirate ship, even when Brig was busted. There are just so many reasons why, like the tiers instead of your actual rank. Yes, 500 SR that separates each rank is a lot, but the simple, oh, I'm low plat, high gold, did not bother me at all. It was pretty easy to be like, oh, what rank you? Oh, I'm mid diamond. Okay. I don't think the tiers was necessary, but if it was like you had your SR and your tiers, cool, but you completely scrapped the SR number. And then not only that, we cannot see the progress after every match. The win 7 games or lose 20 is not working, especially with how terrible the matchmaking is. I bet you don't want us to see our ranks, because we are spread everywhere. That's why the games are so lopsided. I should not win a game by a large margin, then turn around the next game and get stomped. That should maybe happen 1 out of every 10 games. That did happen enough in Overwatch 1. Like, sometimes you just got stumped. And even excluding 2 CP, sometimes on just like a King of the Hill map, sometimes you just got swept 0-2, 99-0. Dang, okay. But that should not happen out of 2 every 3 games when you're doing the stomping or getting stomped. That should not happen as often. Maybe this could be prevented, maybe if the matchmaking match gains based off your SR/rank and not instead of MMR. Because this is not working. It is not working. What is the point of our rank if we're not going to be match made based off of our rank? If we're not going to play people in our tiers? And then this entire idea of wanting competitive to have a 50% win rate is kind of not realistic, because even when you do play sports, for example, like professional sports, people are not going to win exactly 50% of the games. You might be a little above, you might be a little below. It depends on you and your team for the most part. And this is a team based game. So you can have streaks. Man, I lost 5 in a row. Man, I lost 4 in a row. Or actually, I won 7 in a row. But the fact that you want us to be that 50% and then you place us in these matches when we have little chance of winning, I just don't understand why it can't be balanced in the first place. If I'm in gold 5, I should only be playing against people in gold 3 to platinum 3 or something like that. You know, groups could be a little different, but even then, I don't even know who's in a group or not. I don't know why y'all changed that when Road Q came. All you gotta do, what they do in Call of Duty, they put a little party icon besides the name. There you go. Problem solved. And then the cherry on top was rank decay. Unless I'm in top 500 and I have not touched the game in a month, there is no reason for my rank to decay from one season to the next. It makes no sense. How do I go from gold 5 to silver 2 with the difference of like 10 games or so? And that's another flaw with the 7 wins, 20 losses system. Even on my best or worst days, I would only gain or lose 200 SR. Even when I would go on a run for a week and lost for a week, I'd just be on a bad losing streak, I would only go up or down 500 SO. Not a rank and a half. And that's the problem when you get put in these uneven games, and it inflates or deflates your MMR. You win your 7 little games, we don't have progress on the losses, you get your rank, and it doesn't feel like you can climb or you show any improvement at all. I decayed to silver 2 only for me to go back up to gold 5 with the next round of updates. I mean, I thought placement matches were a little bit odd, but this is way worse than that. But I really just hope Blizzard can get their act together. I can see the active player base being lower than what it was towards the end of Overwatch 1. I mean, I barely play comp now because it's just not fun. A lot of people on Reddit, I know, oh, she's taking her stuff off Reddit. Not really. But people don't even play comp. They don't play arcade. I mean, quick play. Why would I play? I'm a competitive person. I only play competitive games. Why would I go out there and play quick play? That's just me personally. I was even one of those weirdos who was playing Overwatch 1 until it ended. And yes, players can be toxic, but I genuinely like the gameplay and the dynamic of Overwatch 1. In my honest opinion, Overwatch 2 should have A, never went free to play, or 2, never should have had 5v5. Because this whole transition from Overwatch 2 to Overwatch 1 was just a big joke. Nothing has happened and y'all treated it like there was a new game. And all y'all did was remove a tank and update the player models and icons. Really? This is still the same game, and there's even no PvE, which y'all was really hyping up. Honestly, I still think we could have had 6v6, just an Orisa rework, but hey. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm gonna give it to about May until I give up on this game. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, rate, subscribe. Peace and chicken grease.